Hello, my dear student. My name is Arpita Sharma. I'm your maths teacher. Welcome to AriserTalent. Okay, now what we are discussing? We are discussing coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry, and in that particular method, we have covered the distance formula. Distance formula till now. We have covered the questions. We have covered the basics. Okay. So in that lecture, we'll talk about the section formula. Distance formula we have covered. Now we will talk about the section formula. I've just briefed you about this whole section formula, that a line can be divided internally and externally by a point, and how we'll find the coordinate of that particular point, we'll see in this lecture. And we will then do some questions. Okay, so let's start with the theory part, because it's important for you guys to understand the theory before moving to the questions on numericals. Okay, so here it is, the section formula. Now, if I'm having this line AB, and I'm having a point which divides this AB line in m/n. Okay, so that can be done in two ways. I've told you what methods. So I've told you that if this is line and it's having some name. Okay, the name of the line is AB. That's the first case. That's the first case. This AB is line and I'm having a point here, right? This point is, let's suppose, what it is? P. Okay, so P. Now, if I divided something in two parts, there must be a ratio. So, let's suppose this is M and this is N. Right. So, from A to P, the length is M, and from P to B, it is N. So, this AP by PB will be equals to M by N. This is what the point is on the line. Internal method is okay. So, this is what, if we talk about internally, if the point bisect this, if the point have the section of this line internally, then it is what? Case first, that is internally. Now for external, we'll talk about, okay, for external, case 2, right? So, we'll be talking about case 2 here. So, second case, not investigate, something like that, but okay, that's a line AB. Now, externally, that means if I extend this line till some point, again the next point is P. So, now I'm having this length M. Right or wrong? I'm having this length M and I'm having this length N. Now, students, see here AP is M, here also AP is M. So, the points are the same. Now, PB is N, here also PB is N, here also and here also, but it's about external. So, it is externally. So, first and second here. Again, I'm telling you, I'm having a line. Now, I've told you all these things, you haven't questioned me. What about the coordinates? Yes, what about the coordinates? So, coordinates are what? If I talk about the first point, what I do, I'll write here the coordinates as x1 and y1, the first point. And if I talk about the second one, that is point B, I'll write it x2 and y2 as points. x2 and y2 as points. Right? The first point x1, y1, second point x2, y2. Again, I'm having it here. First point as x1, y1. Second point will be obviously x2 and y2. x2 and y2, x1, y1 and x2, y2. Now, I'm having this unknown point P here that divides it and also P here. So, what it will be? Look, the coordinates will be, in both cases, will be x comma y. If x comma y here, so that's here, x comma y there also. X comma y here and x comma y here. So, the coordinates of point P will remain x comma y. The coordinate of first point in both the case will become x1, y1, and in the second point, first point is x1, y1 and second point is x2, y2. That is point B, the second point, and the first point is A. Now, got it? Remembered that? So, now what we have to do? You always know that what we do, we find the value of x and y. So, in complete this section formula, what I am talking about, we will talk about to find the value of x and y. Sorry. So, if I am telling you that I am having some values of x1 and y1 here and x2 and y2 here, so there will be value of x and y dependent on the values of x1, y1, x2, y2 and m and n. So, I am now having a formula. Consisting of x1, y1, x2, y2 and m and n. Okay. So, we'll talk about that formula. Okay. First, we'll read it out all louder, light section formula. Okay. So, let's read. Now, you understood all the things. Now, let's read. Let A and B be 2 points in the plane. Okay, in the plane. If you talk about your copy that you are holding in your hands right now, so the page of the copy is now a plane. Okay, so let A and B be 2 points in the plane of the paper. Okay, as shown in figure, and P be a point on the segment joining A and B such that. So, this is point A, this is point B and this is point P. Now, P is a point such that it divides this line AB in M ratio N. Okay. So, AP ratio PB will be M ratio N. Right. Then the point P divides segment AB internally in the ratio M by N. Okay. So, here if I talk about this, should I use some different chalks here? So, it is like this AP by PB. Simply what? Just put the values AP equals to M and PB equals to N. Similarly, guys, if you talk about the case 2, if you talk about this case 2 is also what? This AP by this BP is equals to, AP is equals to M and BP equals to N. Okay. So, again, AP, that is AP and BP is M ratio N. Right. In the both cases. This is important. Now, if point P is a point on AB, produce such that, now here I am having this BP as an extension of line AB. Okay. So, basically this AB has an extension and this BP is the extended part. Now, the point is not on this AB. It's an outsider. Okay, so this outsider lies in the extension of AB, and we name it P. Now the distance from B to P is N, and from the starting point its distance. Basically, the point is here. Now distance of first point from this and distance of second point from this. First point is M, distance from first point of this point P is M, and distance from the second point from this point is N. Okay. Again, they are externally divided in same ratio, M ratio N, M ratio N, M ratio N, right? Okay. So the coordinates of the point which divides the line segment joining the points x1, y1 and x2, y2 internally in the ratio M ratio N are given by. Okay. So guys, let me clear you something. This is a graph here, and if you can't see it properly, should I make it for you? Okay. So the graph it's talking about is this. This is the graph. Okay, if you are not able to see it properly, you just will find it all there. If I am talking about internally, okay, only internally. So, I'll divide it here also. Okay. Internally, I am having this line. This line, students. This line is what? Your line AB. I've stated here also, that's AB. Okay, so the points will be, the first point is what? X1, Y1, you all know, I also know, X1, Y1. The B point will be having X2, Y2, right? Now, I'm having some point P here, so that will be P, and the coordinates of this will be abscissa X and the ordinate Y. Now, if I'll show them on the axis, what I have to do? Okay, just mark these points on this axis, right? Again, if I'm having this axis, I'll be having this axis also. So, here also. These are the points here. Okay, so these are the points here. Now, this point, I'll call it L and M. L and M, the point AB. And for P, let's suppose this is N, because after M, I can just take. Now, this is x-axis, this is the origin, and this is the y-axis. Okay. Now, this complete distance is M, and this complete distance is N. Okay. Now according to this formula, this section formula, if I talk about this x value will be what? This x value will be this. That is m x2 plus n x1, m x2 plus n x1 upon m plus n, m x2 plus n x1 upon m plus 1. This is the value of x. Okay, you have to speak with me, right? So, m x2 plus n x1 upon m plus 1. It is the value of abscissa x of the point P. Now, if I go with y, so there is no use of x. I will be talking about only y's. So, y will be equals to y m2, m y2, m y2 plus n y1 upon m plus n. Again with me, m y2 plus n y1 upon m plus n. Now, these are the formulas. Even though if you are facing difficulty, we'll talk about it. How will we find out that M2 will be where, X2 will be there, X1 will be there. This is quite simple. If I talk about the abscissa, if I'm calculating the abscissa value, so I'll use only abscissa value. Now M and N are common, so in this denominator there will be M plus N here, M plus N here. So where the confusion lies in students, that's whether to use M with X2 or N with X2. Same with the this X1 and same with this Y2 and same with this Y1. What if I forget something? So we will talk about it. We will have a short trick of that. Short trick, students, right? So okay, we'll talk about it. Now you're having this formula. You're having this formula for on the condition that this X2, X1 and Y2, Y1 are having, these are 2 points, and the particular point divides it internally in the ratio. Internally is important. Internally in the ratio M by N. Okay. So this is about that. Now you can note this. You can note this formula. You can note this graph. I have made the graph. This is the same graph here. So I have just I've made this graph for you guys to be confirm about that. If it's not visible for you guys, then you can have a look at here. So just note it, students, so that we can move forward. Right. Okay. So should I rub it? So the coordinates of P. Coordinates of P are what? Coordinates of P are X and Y. You can see here P X Y. Also you can see here P X Y. Okay, so we are talking about only internally. So we are talking about only X and Y, P internally. So it's Mx2 plus Nx1 upon M plus N. Similarly here it is My2 plus My1 upon M plus N. Now, okay, now this is XY. Okay, so XY will be same here. I will be having the same value here. So it's just you're having the point P coordinates here with you. Okay. Now what if the AB, if we are having this AB, and point P is here, this is point P. What if this M is equals to this N? That means the point P divides the AB line in half. It just cut it in half. It just divide it in half, or it bisect. We can use the word bisect. If the point P bisect it. Now, if the point P bisect it, okay. So we are having this particular formula. I can write formula here, right? That was M X2 plus N X1. Okay. Upon M plus N. Now let it be what? 20. Let it be what? 20. Now 20 by 20 is what? 1. 20 by 20 is what? 1. So what will I put? I will put 1 in the place of M and N. Because why it's so? If you are not able to understand it, okay, let me clear this portion. I'll make you understand it here to you guys. Come this side, guys. X equals to M X2 plus N X1 upon M plus N. Now M by N. M ratio N equals to 1. That means M by N equals to 1. Isn't it? So if I'll talk about this X, if I'll take this by N common, so that will be multiplied by X2, right? Plus N, so that will be X1. Okay. N by N upon, that will be what? M by N multiplied by if I take common n, so that will be m by n plus n by n. Now students, isn't it m by n is 1, so that will be x2 plus n by n is again 1, so that will be plus of x1. Now m by n is again 1, I have told you 1, and here it will be 1 also. So what will it be? x2 plus x1 by 2. Similarly for y. Similarly for y. So if it divides in two perfect segments, this line, this point P divides this particular segment in two equal halves, then m by n will be equals to 1. Then in that case, x value of x will be equals to x1 plus x2 by 2, and the value of y will be equals to y2 plus y1 by 2. Okay, got it? This is the way, and we will discuss it later. We will call it m by n a specific value, we will call it by that. Okay, so just concentrate on that now. Now if I will put this 1 here, all, so that will become what? Absolutely x1 plus x2 by 2, that will be x, and the y will be equals to y2 plus y1 by 2. Okay, let's see. Now I have told you about this trick. This is the trick to remember the section formula. How it's the trick? Okay, so first just forget about the formula. Now you will say, why? We have remembered it. Now why should we just forget it? Okay, so for 1 second just know this, that you don't know the formula. Now you will have this line AB, point P, it is internal. Now this is M and this is N. This you know by the diagram. Now what will you write? X1. Okay, X1 multiply by, this line comes here at N. This lines come here at N. So multiply by N. Now I am talking about what? Abscissa. So I will consider only abscissa. Now come here, this side x2. x2, okay, plus x2 multiply by, come this side there, m, it joins with n, so m. Now in here in the denominator we all know that will be m plus n. So if you will reform it, that will be here mx2 plus here nx1 by 2. Similarly guys, if I talk about this bx2 and x2 and y2, bx2 and y2 I am talking about. Okay, so I am picking this y2 from here and I am picking this y1 here. Why? Because I am talking about this ordinate. Now talking about this ordinate, this y1 will be multiplied by, look, with what? N. Okay, n plus of here y2 will be multiplied with m. Y2 will be multiplied with by, again m plus n, it is common. So if you solve this, that will be what? my2 plus ny1 upon m plus n. Why I have written 2 here? Correct it. Okay, you should tell me na, ma'am, what thing you have done. Okay, so m plus n here, m plus n here. Now it is clear with this diagram. So where to write x2, where to write m with x2 or m with x1. So this kind of question or this kind of confusion, generally it will not happen to you guys, but in the examination, if you are confused with that, so you just can remember this. And guys, you will have a question with this formula. Section formula is important, guys. Okay, so note this. Now, if you are not satisfied with this, okay. So if you will talk about it, so we'll see that it's having here. Okay, so here we are having this mx2 plus nx1 upon m plus n. The first formula is right with that trick. Okay, now this is my2 here plus ny1 upon m plus n. Now satisfied with this trick, little trick? Okay, if you forget, in case you forget, if you are confused, so you just can't, wrong the question, you'll take help from this trick. Okay, so this is about that. Now, third point, the ratio m by n can also be written as m by n is to 1 or lambda is to 1, where lambda equals to m by n. Now, it's a little bit confusing to you guys. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll find it very easy, very easy. How? Let's see. Okay, so students, basically this is m ratio n. Now if I'll divide this ratio by n, and I can do that, right? So because I am both side I'm dividing by n, so okay, that will become m by n and that will become 1. Now the specific sign m by n, I'll take this m by n as lambda. This is the lambda sign. This is lambda. So m by n is equals to lambda. So if I write lambda here, so lambda ratio 1. Now in your questions, you can also have the formula, the what you say it, ratio, proportion, the proportion as lambda is to 1 also. So if it gives you lambda is to 1, that means lambda is the value of m by n. Getting or not? Getting my point? Okay. So that can be also written as lambda is to 1, where lambda equals to m by n. Now you understood it, student. Okay. So can I just tell you what is next? Next. Okay. Now the coordinates of P. Now, okay. Now what we are going to do? We are going to, in our next session, this is enough for this session, guys. Okay. So in our next session, we are considering the coordinates of point P. Coordinates of point P, dividing the line segment. Dividing the line segment, joining the points A, x1, x1 and y1 and B, x2, y2. Right. We have talked about this m and n form. Now we'll talk about the lambda form. Okay. So what we will do? We'll divide it by n. We'll divide it by n and write it. Now m by n will be written as lambda, and where it is n by n, that will become 1. So the m by n will be replaced by lambda, and the last you will be having this lambda x2 plus x1 upon lambda plus 1 and lambda y2 plus y1 upon lambda plus 1. Right? Right, guys? So this is about today. This is about today, and we'll meet in our next session with some interesting questions for sure. We always do that, and till then try to have some questions, because if I'll tell you and then you'll do the questions, okay, so that will be more interesting if you just try some questions, some basic questions. So you just can use the AriserTalent sheet here to solve the question. You will find variety of question, and I know you'll be going to face some difficulties in the question. So we will be discussing them in our next lecture. So is it fine? Is it cool? Okay. So with that note, I'm finishing my today's session. Have a very nice day, guys. Bye-bye.